Did you know there was once a cute little buff dragon, or that there's a swamp snapper hiding on the map? What about the eastern dragon planned for the game? These are just a few of the facts in today's video. Some you may already know, some you may not. I would like to turn this into a series, so if you have any interesting facts about the game you would like me to include in future videos, let me know in the comments. With that said, let's get into it. The Sandslayer worm has been in the game since the alpha. Back then it was known by the community as Pookie, and looked very different and a lot smaller than it does now. It was still a dangerous creature back then, and after its rework it seems even more menacing. An ice version will be released along with the other ice creatures. We don't know if it'll have different attacks or abilities right now, but until the behemoths are released, the Sandslayer will take multiple players to defeat. Also introduced in the alpha was the Inferno Ravager, known simply as the Fire Wyvern. It has retained the ability to set itself on fire, but this ability can now protect it from the Frost Wyvern's ability to freeze. The downside is the Frost Wyvern has this same protection from the Inferno Ravager. Creating the Wyvern has also affected other dragons slightly. Getting the walking and flying animations right involved changing how the wing membrane responds to movement, so it doesn't twist in on itself or overlap other areas of the body. This change is also being used on the Flamestalker, which has some problems due to its huge wings. Only 3 of the planned 7 elements are currently in the game: fire, plasma and acid. Bio and lightning will be introduced in the 1.0 update. The Bioluma and Blitzstriker will have these respective elements. Ice will be introduced in the 1.3 update in many forms, such as the Frost Wyvern and Ice Behemoth. And while Venom is planned, there are currently no concept images of any of these creatures, but a Drake and an Amphitheater are on their Trello roadmap. The Bioluma dragon is the only one that can use bioluminescence as its element, and will be the only dragon without a damaging attack. Its Bio Spit will simply make other creatures glow, which will be useful for night and cave exploration, and being the fastest dragon will make it an ideal scout. The Bio Dragon will have the ability to glow in the dark, and as far as we know it doesn't have a timer, so it can be used indefinitely. If you go to the swamp at the south of the map, you can find several swamp snappers relaxing on the islands. They don't move and are completely harmless, but it's nice to get a look at them this early on. Most mushrooms, including the alder mushrooms, respawn an hour after being eaten, but some have varying timers. Most of these are Flamestalker alder mushrooms. As there are so many so close together, it was a good decision to prevent people from aldering too quickly on less populated servers. There are 24 skins available for the Shadow Scale as of the recording of this video, 24 for the Acid Spitter and 20 for Flamestalker. Only a handful of these can be gained by spawning with varying odds, and the rest have to be either crafted by breeding 2 specific skins or obtained via Kickstarter or Patreon. The gold skins make up almost a third of the Flamestalker's possible skins, with 6 out of its 20. The Shadow Scale and Acid Spitter have 4 out of their possible 24, and all the Acid Spitter's gold skins can be crafted from the base gold skin. The current map is 16 by 16 kilometers, which is slightly larger than the map in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The new mega map will be 40 by 40 kilometers. You can fit 4 of the Odyssey maps inside it and not even reach the edge. Creating the height map alone took 9 months. This huge map will have several biomes, including the desert dunes, shimmering caverns, lava lands, winter winds, a tropical forest and several beaches. Every biome will have native dragons, and elementals will receive a debuff and possible life drain if they leave their biome. The ancient growth stage of each dragon exists and is far larger than its previous stages. Unfortunately, this stage is inaccessible to players and can only be achieved by devs. NPCs have been mentioned as being ancients on the mega map to give quests to players. Their size will make them stand out more and help to distinguish them from players. There are 5 locations that always spawn a Flamestalker alder mushroom, all of which are nestled in among the other spawn locations in the ravine. The Shadow Scale mushrooms have 2 locations, one of which is the island, the other being on the ramp in the northeastern redwood forest. The Acid Spitter also has 2. One is also on the island and the other is in the cave near the river. The Nurse Dragon is the only non-elemental dragon and the only dragon capable of hatching someone else's eggs. Specialising in nesting doesn't make this dragon an easy target however, and its nesting buffs will help to produce strong dragons. The parents of these eggs will stay near to the nurse dragon to help protect it, but in PvE servers this won't be an issue. The world the dragons live on is known as Drakon, and the moon is the home world of the elementals, also known as the Narok. The planet and moon have in-depth lore and history, and is one of the side projects for the developers. Having this backstory adds a lot of depth into the game, and there is even a lore discussion section of the Discord. There is a Day of Dragons comic book series being released called Legends of Drakon. It will follow the history of the dragons and the elementals, and it is currently only available to Patreons. The Day of Dragons Kickstarter was accidentally given a ton of traffic thanks to Harry Potter Wizards Unite. The first couple of days saw $1,300 raised. 5 days later, Wizards Unite launched their Day of the Dragons event, and our beloved game was the first result on Google. By the time the Kickstarter ended a few months later, it had racked up over $500,000 with over 12,000 backers. In the alpha, there was a species of dragon known as the buff dragon. Its main purpose was to help other dragons grow faster, and provided a couple of other benefits as well. This concept is likely the inspiration for the Singe Crest, the only known healer coming to the game so far. Another interesting fact about the buff dragon is that it didn't grow. It stayed tiny, and this was likely due to another feature of the alpha that I hope makes a comeback, and that is being able to ride around on other dragons, or even behemoths once they are released. So far we have western dragons, wyverns, amphitheas, and a four-winged hybrid currently either in the game or planned for the updates. But did you know there is an eastern dragon planned for a future update? Eastern dragons folklore originates in East Asia. These dragons are wingless and, unlike their western counterparts, are much more friendly and are seen as protectors rather than killers. If these dragons do come to the game, I would love to see how they fit into the lore and the part they play in the world's history. On the Day of Dragons Trello page, it's called the Eastern Water Dragon, but water isn't an element in the game and no other dragons are planned to have this element, so either this dragon will be the only water user, or it will use a different element and its name is simply describing its natural habitat. The Acid Spitter currently has the only damage dealing ability. Its decaying bite will not only damage, but it also drains the stamina of its target. It won't hold this position forever though, as the Inferno Ravager and Blitz Striker will both have abilities that can either injure or stun opponents. In an even match, Shadow Scales have a huge disadvantage against Flamestalkers. The latter's bite strength far outclasses, making a melee fight near impossible to win, and Heat Vision can see straight through the cloaking ability of the Shadow Scale, and they can see you even with a perfect cloak. The Shadow Scale is a much faster flyer though. When taking on Flamestalkers, players tend to use the hit and run method, which can offer you a slight edge given the limited range of the Flamestalker's fire breath and its inability to catch up with you in the air. And that was 20 facts about Day of Dragons. Some of these facts are more well known than others, but hopefully there was one or two new pieces of information in there for you. Researching this video has been a lot of fun, and I hope to make more in the future. This video has information from the past, present and future of the game, and there is a lot to learn from all stages, so let me know if you'd like a facts about the alpha or a facts about the full release video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.